What's up everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I will test and review this portable 300 PSI air compressor with a digital display from JF.EGWO. I'll tell you right now that I received this for free to test and review, but this is not a commercial. Like all of my other videos, this is an honest review. First, let's unpackage everything, then we'll go through it in detail. First up is the instruction manual. It is clear, with nice colorful illustrations. Next is the inflator. It has a nice handle on top. There are 4 rubber feet on the bottom to operate it like this. And there are 4 rubber pads on the back to operate it like that. And also on the back is the air hose. And there is a very nice storage slots for it. Here's the charging cable. USB-C connects to the compressor, and USB-A for the power source. And here's the extension hose, which connects to the end of the inflator hose, and it has a variety of nozzles. To connect it, just screw them together hand tight, and there's an O-ring seal. And last is the storage case. It has a carrying handle, and is somewhat rigid and keeps its shape. There is a mesh pocket in the lid to store the charging cable, the extension hose, and the instructions. And of course, the inflator. Next, we will check out the inflator in detail and run it through several tests. Holding the power button for a couple seconds turns it on. The display shows that the battery has a full charge, but the instructions say to fully charge it before the first use. So let's plug it in and charge it up. USB-C to the input, and USB-A to the power source. The battery symbol is flashing, which means it's charging, so I will come back a little bit later. And the battery symbol is solid, so charging is complete. Now let's check it out. First, let's power it on. The display doesn't really flash like that, that's just some kind of weird camera phenomenon. The display is always solid, like this. This is the LED light. This is the air outlet. We've already looked at the air hose. This is the air inlet. And now let's check out the display and the controls. Then we'll test stuff. Here's the input to charge it. Here's a USB-A output to charge things. This switch turns the inflator on and off. This is the real-time air pressure value. This is the preset pressure value. This button turns on the LED light, which has 3 different modes: solid, flashing, and SOS. To change the preset pressure value, use the plus and minus buttons. You can repeatedly press the button to change it in half PSI increments. Or hold the button to run it through faster, and release the button for it to stop. And the last button is the mode button. Press it to toggle between free mode, car mode, motorcycle mode, bicycle mode, and ball mode. Note that free mode is the full range, 3 to 300 PSI. The other modes are just kind of bookmarks to get you close to the range of that application, to save you time, so you don't have to make extreme adjustments. If you hold the mode button for a few seconds, you can toggle the units between PSI, bar, and kilopascals. We will use PSI for this video. Now let's go test a bunch of stuff. First up is a vehicle tire, and I'm going to use this one right here. To get the party started, I released all of the air from the tire. And this tire is officially flat. We are ready to start the first test. This tire needs to be inflated to 35 PSI. The inflator is in position. Extension hose connected. Hose connected to the valve stem. Turn on the inflator and adjust the preset pressure value to 35 PSI. Then we'll turn it on and start a stopwatch. So the inflator is doing its magic and inflating away. A cool thing about this inflator is it will automatically stop when it reaches the preset pressure, so it will shut off on its own when it reaches 35 PSI. Taking a close look, it appears to have used about a quarter of the battery, and it took 6 minutes and 26 seconds. And checking the pressure with another gauge, it comes in at 36 PSI, so I would say the inflator is accurate. I will also point out that on a taller tire like this, in the worst case scenario with the valve stem positioned at the top, this 30-inch long hose reaches no problem, so the inflator can sit on the ground, and it's not dangling in the air on a short hose. This is a really good feature. And I will also point out, when running for a long time like that, the unit does not get hot, but the hose gets pretty hot. Checking the temperature, it reached well over 100 degrees near the inflator. Let's head to the next test, the basketball. How am I going to shoot swishes and slam dunks with a flat basketball? The ball says to inflate 7 to 9 PSI. So let's equip the needle and insert it into the ball. Power up the inflator, and it's still set at 35 PSI from the last time it was used. Instead of trying to adjust it all the way down to 8 PSI, I changed it to ball mode to get it there faster. It only took 5 seconds to fill it up, and now it's time for some b-ball. Swish! Nothing but net. And slam dunk. Told ya! Next, let's test it on bicycle tires. Both of these tires are flat and need some air added. Let's add air so I can do some lame tricks. Checking the tire, it says 40 to 65 PSI. Connect the air hose to the valve stem and turn on the inflator. I cycled it to bicycle mode, which had a default of 45 PSI, which will work, it's in the range. But I will bump it up to 50 PSI just for fun. And we'll time it. And it took about 37 seconds. Now we can do some lame tricks. Front hop, back hop, bunny hop. Told you they were lame. Next, let's fill up this inner tube so I can play in the water. I will be using this nozzle attachment to connect to the inner tube. Looking good. The inner tube does not specify an air pressure, so I'll just set the inflator to a ridiculous shutoff pressure and manually monitor it and shut it off when the inner tube is full. I'll tell you what, this sure beats blowing it up with your mouth and getting dizzy. And it took about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And now I can play in the water. Hooray! Now, just for fun, let's keep pumping this thing up and see what this inflator can do. It's only at 3.5 PSI, but it's getting bigger. And the last functionality to test is the 5-volt output. I connected it to my iPad and turned on the inflator, and it's charging my device, so it works. Taking a look at the inflator, it shows 5-volt output in use, and throughout all of today's testing, we've used about 3/4 of the battery. To conclude, I personally really like this inflator. The small size, and the large bright digital display, and the automatic shutoff at a preset pressure value really stand out. I would recommend it. As always, I hope you found this helpful or entertaining. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.